Welcome, KD here. This is the second update for my game, Sun World in Pieces. Just as short disclaimer, nothing you see here is final. This is still very early in development and nothing is finished. So I did already a short update about task notifications. So this update here will go a little bit deeper into the progression system and absolutely learning abilities. But what I just want to show you first is kind of a little bit layout I set up for the demo version. So first I kind of had an idea to make the whole UI here not so boring, a little bit more interesting, but then I kind of realized that a little bit sorry about that, but just a little bit sorry that everything I do here with this UI, this will never be translated into the main game. This is only for the demo version to navigate through stuff for the demo, so this will never be in the main game. So to make here a fancy UI or anything like that just felt like a waste of time in the end. So I kept it very simple, like you see here. And that's when you after every battle you jump into this screen you see here, and then you can go to the shop. I already put a small layout. Again, the shop, this is only for the demo version. The shop will look different when we go to the main game. So we can go back here, so then we can jump to the next battle. So character updates is what I want to talk further in this short update here. I hope it will be short, maybe it will be a little bit longer. And then, or you can go to next battle, or you can save your game and quit to the title screen, or quit the game completely. I don't know yet. These two are not connected yet, but they're just here. That's the general the things you can do in the demo. So let's go to character update. We jump directly in here. That's what I showed you already a little bit about progression. What I want to talk about that I now put the layout for all abilities. So at the moment we have 20 ability classes, and I will go a little bit through these classes. And I want to say that this will be the focus of the demo, will be probably on these 20 classes. I have at least the idea for one more classes I will talk at the end. That will be in the main game, but because it's more focused on what happens with the interactions in the world and so on, I won't add it in the demo. So what I already showed you many times when we go here under the abilities tiers and characters, these three ability classes. I talked a lot about them, so I don't want to go too deep into them. And you also have to kind of ignore this part here, tier locked, and these numbers are not set up here. This is just kind of the layout of everything. And here we see tier 1 and tier 2 abilities are already unlocked. We have already 2 job abilities learned here, Handyman and Searcher. Handyman, you won't have this at the beginning. This is because I went already so far. Tested. This is an ability you have to learn. Then we have here some trainings. I believe this is something I will set up soon. The training, and I will go deeper into the training abilities. And then weapon stats, which weapons you can, or which weapon classes you can use. I will probably go in another update a little bit more into weapons, but there are 2 types of weapons: unique weapons and common weapons. The unique weapons are the weapons that only this specific character can use. And no one else. And I guess more or less every character in the game will probably have 2 unique weapons. He probably won't have these 2 from. Not every character has 2 of these weapons from the beginning. Just so you know. Some will gain their second weapon or something like that. By progressing in the story, and because it is kinda related to the story, some may change their weapons because it's connected to the story again and stuff like that. Just as studio info, but I don't want to go too deep into this here because like I said, I want to keep this update short and more on point. So we have here 3 ability classes, and like I said, probably in here maybe we get the 4th one for the main game that will be focused on interactions with NPCs and assets in the world, or give you extra possibilities to interact with more stuff in the world if you learn these abilities. That's kind of the idea. But for the demo version, we will keep this up because there is no the demo version will focus on the combat and sorry, focus on the combat, and there won't be any exploration in the world. No NPCs you can talk to, and stuff like that. So I will keep this up for that. Then under abilities we have 6 classes. We have the here we have the combat abilities, and we have the in general the 5 abilities I already talked of. Actually, there are 6 abilities. So we have short range, mid range, and long range attacks. I said this before, but just to kind of repeat it: short range, mid range, and long range are with conventional weapons, so kind of swords, spears, bow and arrows, and stuff like that. And of course, different weapons have a different range, and that's kind of how I class this. Tech weapons are then more weapons with more technology into. I definitely will go deeper into tech weapons. However, for the demo version, it's not that important. You will see in the main game. This will be very strongly connected to the story. What exactly tech weapons means, and when we connect it with the story, there we see it's easier to understand what is the distinction between conventional weapons and tech weapons. Special skills, I always say, maybe the easiest way to explain this is with magic. The word magic doesn't really exist in that way when we look at the lore. But yeah, this is the explanation is calling it magic, but it will be more called in the direction of manipulator, or anything like that. And it is kind of using a lot of your inner energy to transform something, to transform sand, fire, ice, and use it as a combat tool, as a defense tool, or anything like that. Then passive skills are skills you don't active use. That's why they call passive skill. And these are mostly defense skills, so like block, parry. There will be kind of counter attacks and stuff like that. That's on the passive skills. So when we look at the ability names, we see that there is kind of an overlay with the name. When we look at short range attacks and mid range attacks, there is, we can maybe first short range attack, punch. So there will be short range attacks will also be kind of martial arts style things, so weaponless fights, and there will be specific events in the game and that's not something for the demo, that's something again for the main game, where you don't fight someone to kill him. So this will be a weaponless fight, and then you can't use weapons and you can only use these short range attacks and use punches and kicks and stuff like that. But when we look at short range attack and mid range attack, so we will see it a little bit better if I didn't show the locked tiers, because we go a little bit further here already, is that slash, smash, and thrust, that they kind of overlay with short range and mid range attacks, because these are abilities that for kind of similar weapon types. Maybe best thing is to explain them. Slash attacks are weapons with a blade, which used to cut someone. Smash are heavy, blunt weapon that, you hit someone with the weight and the power of the speed of the weapon without having a blade or anything like that. And thrust weapons are like spears and things like that, so something pointy, or a dagger or anything like that. So that's why I say kind of, you will see, you have to learn abilities for short range attacks, thrust, and there will be also possibility to learn thrust on the mid range attacks, just because it's kind of depends on the weapon style. And what I will do is I will change a little bit in combat, the layout of the commands. So what will be is kind of when we go to mid-range attack and we choose slash, and you have actually two weapons equipped that fit to this, so you have two mid-range weapons that can use slash, then you can still choose which weapon you want to use, just so for information. Then on the long range attack we have throw and pull. Pull is maybe not the best word, maybe I will find a better word for that. Throw is, of course, you have throwing weapons, you can throw items and things like that, that do damage. That's what is meant with throw. Of course, because you throw them, it's long range. Pull is kind of things like bow and arrow, so you have to pull a string, if you to shoot the projectile, things like so. This is, like I said, bow and arrow, slingshot, and stuff like that. Then on the tech weapons we also have trigger. So trigger, again, it's maybe not the best word, but these are weapons that shoot a projectile by the user just having to pull a trigger. And I kind of have it here as an ability to learn. I know maybe not makes sense, everyone can pull a trigger, but I think if you see it then over. But on the other hand, everyone can swing a weapon and try to cut something like that, but there's still some technique behind it, and everyone that used a gun before knows that there is also, it's not as easy as just pulling a trigger back. There's a little bit more to it. So just see it like this, that it may not make sense that you have to first learn an ability to push back a trigger, but if you think about that there is a certain technique behind it, then it may make more sense. If you go to special skills, so right now we have sand throw and sand bullet. Like I said, this is more magic skill. I don't want to go too deep into this. This is maybe something for another update. And passive skills I went already over. So here we have again 6 ability classes in here. Then we go under crafting and we see again 6 ability classes. Here I have to say, for the demo version, probably in this section, there is maybe not too much to do, too much to learn here, just because crafting equipment and stuff like that needs for me to create more assets for the character and stuff like that, and I'm not sure how far I get until the demo is finished, because I will focus on the game mechanics and not on adding more assets, adding more clothing and stuff like that. So for the demo version, probably this section will be not too expanded. You see, I don't have something for accessories and clothing right now. Absolutely clothing, I probably will leave this out for the demo version. Maybe I'll put 1 or 2 simple assets in here that give you possibility to add a little bit some small buffs for your character, some simple accessories. I don't know how you say it in English. They always say accessoire, but it's probably more the French way to say it. Anyway, so under equipment there is kind of crafting yeah, like holsters, pouches for your ammo, holsters for your weapons and stuff like that. So you can add bring with you into combat extra weapons, extra ammunition and stuff like that. Under items is like crafting health potions and stuff like that. There will be also different items, also items you have to craft then, how should I say, there will be materials you have to craft, so you can craft something else, or improve a weapon or anything like that. Let's maybe make a simple explanation here. Is maybe if you want to craft a spear, then you maybe need first a spearhead, but you don't want to just find a spearhead. You will maybe just find some metal, or maybe if it's a stone spear, you have to find a certain type of stone, and then you have to change this stone into a spearhead, and then you can craft a spear. That's also in here on the items. Then weapons is what I just explained, kind of if you want to craft a spear or anything like that. So maybe what I should say, and what is kind of important here, and what I somehow completely forgot, is the important part here. There are 2 things on the crafting and also improving will be 2 separate things. Learning the ability doesn't mean crafting the item. So if you want to craft a health potion as example, first you have to learn the ability, and that's here. Here we learn the ability to craft a health potion. And then we see here a second option list. Then we can go here under items, and then when we learn the ability, we have the possibility to craft this item. So that's a kind of important that you what's the difference? There's a little bit of difference. So learning the ability doesn't mean that you already crafted something. I think that's just important here. So the whole crafting itself is not in the game yet. right now I'm concentrating on the ability, because this will be quite complicated. A lot of things are connected with each other, and then crafting will be the next step after I set up all the abilities. Yeah, and then on the crafting, so we have on the crafting, we just went on the crafting. So we have here 6 tiers, but like I said, for the demo version, I'm not sure if I will already give you the possibility to learn everything in for 6 classes, 6 ability classes. For the demo version, I'm not sure if I will open up already all classes. It depends on how far I get with working on the meshes, and like I said, that's not something I'm concentrating right now on. Really, the goal is to make it playable and not making it look good. Yeah. So then under improving, we have then finally 5 more classes. They're a little bit similar to the crafting part. No, I have to change here. Still crafting. This is improving here. So we have kind of unique weapons. So the improve. If again, you have here learning the ability to improve something, and then the improving itself is separate. That's really something I kind of, while I was working on this, like I kind of how exactly do I want to do this with the abilities and with the improving, because there are some things absolutely on the crafting. There are things you can craft only once, and then there are other things you can craft over and over and over again if you have enough material and enough experience points left. So how exactly do I want to do this? And kind of the ability tiers here is kind of this one time thing. So I had the feeling it's the best thing to do to separate it. It makes it maybe a little bit more complicated, because maybe a little bit annoying for the player, because he has to first learn the ability, and there are requirements for learning the ability, and then he has to craft, and then he can start to craft or improve stuff. And again, this will maybe not have requirements, but it will cost materials, it will cost experience points and stuff like that. Anyway, here, like I said, we have unique weapons. These are specific weapons for your character. And then what you can learn is kind of really a lot of different things. You can sharpen your weapon, and then you do more damage. Then you do more damage with this if you use this weapon. You can change the grip, improve the grip, so you have more control with the weapon. You can change the weight. The weight of the weapon, so you have more smashing power behind it. You can maybe improve the weight distribution. What is the word? You know, where is the weight, so you can put more power behind your swings and stuff like that. So you can kind of improve a lot of elements of your weapon with that. Then under equipment, you can learn, not learn, improve your backpack as example. So you can add backpack slot 1 volume is you can bring of this more items of, or more of the same item. So if in slot 1 you only have space for 1 item, so let's say you put in potions, and you can at the beginning only bring 3 potions with you, then you can learn the ability to expand the potion, and then you can start to improve the volume, so you can next time if you improve it once, then you can bring 4 potions, then 5 potions, 6 potions, and so on. And then backpack slot 2 means you add a second slot to it, so you can bring not only a health potion, you can also bring something else with you. And here also kinda you can also improve other things like ammunition, how much ammunition you can bring with you, and stuff like that. Then under common weapons we have, like I said, these weapons that you can equip additional to your unique weapons, and you also can improve these common weapons, and you can learn here abilities to improve certain weapons. And this will be kind of a little bit specific for every character can craft a little bit different weapon types and weapons and so on, and he also different characters can improve certain weapon types and so on. However, if you have a character that can equip this weapon type, you still can craft a weapon with one character and improve it with this character and then give it to another character. That's not a problem. Then under armors there will be also possible to craft extra armor. This here is still pretty much is something I still have to think about armor. I wasn't really talking about this in the crafting. So what I think what I will do with the armor is that armor will have a certain durability. You will have the option to repair your weapons, your armors, and if an armor breaks, then you have to craft it. Then you have to craft the armor again if you're not careful and don't repair it before it gets destroyed. I think that's the best way to do it with the armor, and then armor gives you of course extra protection, and kind of depends on a little bit the situation. So you see here leather bracelet, and I think this type of armor will only protect you when you have already when you use blocking. Also is with armor, it will be a little bit different to common weapons. Like I said, common weapons you can give to other characters and stuff like that. Armors won't be exchangeable, or at least I don't think I will do it that you can give it to other characters. This will be maybe more specific to one character. And the reason behind that is more of the customization part. So I want to keep the customization individual for every character, and armor is something that changes the visual, and so I kind of want to keep the armors as a little bit more special for every character. But I will see, maybe I will change my mind here. The part of the armor is still something I'm not 100% certain. And then you can also improve accessories or accessory, or however you say it in English. And accessoires, I'm sorry, I used the French word, or the French way to say it, or anyway. It's also here, you can also improve them because they will give you certain buffs to your states. Maybe something will give you more hit points, something else will give more additional energy, another accessory will improve a certain attribute like your strength and stuff like that. and then you can improve these accessoires, and so you can give it additional effects if you wear this accessoire. This will again probably be the same like armors, that it will be specific for this character and so on. I'm not 100% sure about that. Maybe I will be here. Maybe it will end up to be more flexible, so you can use it for different characters and so on. Anyway, that's kind of what I want to talk about with the abilities. So now we have the general layout of all the abilities classes you can learn, and then we see here there will be different tiers. So higher tiers will be more will be of course most of the time better abilities. Right now that's just because on one sheet we go up to tier 10. In the main game, almost certain there will be more than 10 tiers. I can't say how much yet, just because I don't really know. I mean, it won't be unlimited. There will be a certain limitation, but it's also possible that, or it's very highly possible that kind of while working on the main game, there will be additional abilities be added to the character, and you won't have the possibility to learn every ability from the beginning just because it's not in the game yet. For the demo version, probably almost certain we won't get up to tier 10. There will be less tiers you can learn. It will also for every ability class it will be a different amount, and that will also be in the main game. I won't just add abilities that doesn't change anything, just so I can kind of have a round number for every ability class, and it will probably also change from character to character how many tiers you can learn in this class. That's what I want to say. So like I said, the demo version probably will be around 5 to 6 tiers, because the demo version it's just give you a feeling how it works with this ability tiers and the crafting and so on. No, so it won't be just to already create the complete complete thing, every ability and so on. It will just take too much time, and like I said, I don't want all these abilities you see here, they will have an effect on how you can play the game. Is this a different ability you can use in combat? Is this a different weapon you can bring with you in combat, or whatever, or is it just something to customize your character? You will see or feel the effect of your ability. I don't want to just add of the ability you learn. I don't want to just add abilities for the sake of adding abilities. I think that's important to say. However, when we then go to kind of the improving part, or also the job levels, when we go there, this will also improve your characters, your equipment, make them more powerful. But here it's more a slower grind. You have to spend a lot of items, money, experience points, so you will see the effect. But abilities itself, you will, if you learn a new ability, it will change something in the game. That was maybe a little bit bad sentence, but I hope you understand what I mean with that. I mean, I just don't see a reason to add an ability that then has no real effect, that or only a small effect. But I like I said, there are parts in here that are maybe a little bit more grindier. So anyway, and then I definitely will go. Probably this is important with the ability too, so I don't think this was the last update I will do about this. What is important is right now, you see that I chose for most of the stuff except for the ones abilities that you know from the beginning. There are some abilities you know from the start, but everything else I have read. The final version won't look like this. There will be probably the final version will look, most of the stuff at the beginning will be gray and you will just have question marks, and then you have to do a certain thing, learn a certain ability, do something in combat, buy something in the shop, or anything like that to unlock even the possibility to learn this ability. I will come to that probably later on. But anyway, I'm sorry if this was again a little bit a longer update, but like I said, the ability tier is kind of important. And like I said, probably if I have more here, I will come back and do another update and maybe explain this a little bit later. Or for sure, if the demo version is further, if there is, if I'm getting further with the development, I will maybe almost probably show you maybe in a live stream or so playing the game and go a little bit deeper into everything in a live stream where I have more time. Yeah, because all these updates are crazy long, and I'm sorry about that. Maybe a last thing I want to say, I understand when you watch, I don't think many watch this stuff through to the end. So maybe I have to say this next time on the beginning. But you probably now think absolutely of this long explanations and stuff, going into a little bit, maybe too much into details of everything. You may think this is extremely complicated, and yes, it is extremely complicated. But I will do it. I will do everything that it will be as easy as possible for the player. In the end, the only thing you have to do is press a button and then you learn the ability. Maybe you don't have to think too much at the moment about what this ability does. It is kind of like this: if you progress in the game, as more abilities you will unlock when you have the chance to learn, and then it's more or less a question about, have you enough experience points, have you the right attribute level, have you the right ability levels for other abilities to learn a new ability. Most of this stuff is something that you gain naturally over time playing the game. and you don't have to think too much about it. However, if you're interested into it and you really want to work to learn a certain abilities and so on, you will get the informations to what do I have to do to learn this specific ability. So that's kind of what the goal should be. It should be interesting for both game styles, for people who don't care, who just, oh, I can learn a new ability, okay, let's learn it, and for people who, oh, I wanna learn this specific ability, what do I have to do? And I give enough informations, and there will be also notifications like, hey, you can now learn this ability, you find this ability here, and yeah, stuff like that. So I hope in the end, it may seem when I do this very, very long updates, again, I'm sorry about this long updates, it may seem, oh my god, this is way too complicated, I don't want to play this game. Like I said, my job is to make it as easy as possible for you. And only for the people who want to get into the nuances of this of the progression systems, that they have the informations to get them, and the people who, like I said, just wanna play the game and, oh, I have a new ability I can learn, let's do it. That both have their part. The last thing I want to say is, absolutely, the goal here is, with the progression system, is to reward people playing the game, maybe doing different, trying out different aspects of the game and not doing the same thing. Rewarding people who do side content and not only play through the story, things like that. I want the progression system to be something very rewarding that gets you hooked, and that's why I don't want to add just abilities for the sake of having an ability there, but adding abilities that really have an effect on the gameplay. Anyway, with that very long update again, I'm sorry. I want to end this video. Thank you for watching. There will be more updates coming. I said this in the first video. I hope I can create more content for my YouTube channel in the near future. I want to go back on doing regular live streams, of course. Like as I said before, it's just a problem with this part here. There is a lot of things I have to kind of write down first, making roadmaps and stuff like that, so I really understand how exactly I want to implement it in it, and that's just something I can stream. And then doing this stuff here, creating all these layouts, the UI and so on, it's not very interesting to stream this, and it's very time consuming stuff, and that's where my focus is right now, and that's why they are just not, it's just very difficult to do every day a stream or something like that. But I mean, there will be a point I'm finished with this part here, and as soon as we have the layout, the main structure and so on, it will be a little bit easier, and I can make a little bit more interesting and streams with more variety, with showing you a little bit different stuff. But right now I have to focus on this. Like I said many times, my goal right now is to really bring you a playable version of my game, and I hope